welcome to CINEKYD Theater. I'm Bob Clark, and I'm pleased that you could be with us tonight once again. Settle back and relax for 30 minutes of creative television designed and developed by the boys and girls who are a part of CINEKYD. To begin, we're going to take you to a place not found on every map. Far, far away, in a little cabin nestled in a valley, where we will meet tiny helpers, Stuart, Androcles, and Uncle Flywheel as we journey now to Uncle Flywheel's workshop.
Look at him. Want to see what else he can do? What's this?
Hey, you guys aren't supposed to be playing with that.
It just does take it off, Stuart.
And you're sitting in my stool.
It's just keeping it warm for you.
You want to break in something like this. This. Hey, what's this?
I don't know. It's been here since this morning. And so does all of this other stuff.
What other stuff?
This stuff right here.
What's all that stuff for?
I don't know, but I think we'll soon find out because here comes Uncle Flywheel.
Hi, boys and girls. Hi, Stuart. Hello, tiny helpers.
Uncle Flywheel.
Boy, have I got a day lined up for you today.
Uncle Flywheel, what's all this stuff? And what's that?
You know, Stuart, I'll bet this radio is at least 40 years old.
Radio? 40 years old.
Radio? Uncle Flywheel, the radio you gave me for Christmas was smaller than this.
Well, you see, Stuart, back when they first started making radios, many years ago, they were large, cumbersome things like this one. But as technology progressed, they got smaller and smaller. And it wasn't just the music you hear on the radio today. It was dramas like you see on TV. There's our guest.
A guest?
Company? Today?
Mm-hmm. I've asked Miss Fenstermacher, you know, the lady that lives in the cottage down the lane. I've asked her to come and visit with us. Jimbo, would you get the door, please?
Of course. Good day, Miss Fenstermacher. Won't you come in?
Welcome, Miss Fenstermacher.
Hi, so glad to see you again. Oh, I see you have the effects.
Mm-hmm.
And the radio, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, may I introduce Stuart, Braino, Enrico, and you've met Jimbo. Oh, and I almost forgot. Our newest friend, Androcles.
Well, how do you do?
I've got to get this thing fixed. Anyway, before she retired, Miss Fenstermacher was an actress on radio. Now, back then, radio was very different. You couldn't actually see what was going on, so they had to let you hear what was going on with sound effects.
Sound effects?
For example, you can make the sound of someone walking across the street with this tray full of gravel. All you do is you take these two towels and press down lightly. And it sounds like someone's walking.
Or you can make the sound of somebody walking through underbrush. You just take a tub full of dried twigs and go like this.
I can understand the film. You make it sound like someone down. But what are these for?
Well, Back then, one of the most popular shows on radio was The Lone Ranger. Now, the stars of The Lone Ranger were the Lone Ranger himself, Tonto, and the Lone Ranger's horse, Silver. Now you could use something like this to make the sound of a chair being pulled back.
Or a pitcher with water to make it sound like someone's pouring a drink. Or light switches. An old rusty lock. Or even ghost tunes.
And of course, the most important piece of equipment, the microphone. I think you get the idea. And now with Miss Fenstermacher's help, we're going to do a little radio show of our own. Okay. Stuart, I think I'm going to put you in charge of the horse.
All right.
Let's see, Brano, you can be the dried brush.
Okay.
Okay. Enrico, you can be in charge of the glasses and the water. And Jimbo, you're in charge of the gravel.
Okay.
Androcles, I almost forgot about you again. You can make the sound of the chair. Now, Miss Fenstermacher, if you please.
Thank you. As the sheriff headed back towards the town, he walked through the woods. He walked towards his horse and mounted, and he galloped swiftly back towards the town. He dismounted and walked across the street. He walked into the cafe and pulled out a chair. Then he asked the waiter to pour him a drink. And there he waited for old Bart.
What happened after that?
Well, as they used to say on the radio back then, Jimbo, tune in next week to find out. And on behalf of Stuart, the Tiny Helpers, Androcles, Miss Fenstermacher, and myself, please remember our motto: each one, reach one. Good night.
Bye.
We take you now from the world of Uncle Flywheel to a behind-the-scenes visit with some of the young people who are a part of CINEKYD. One of our staff members, Miss Peggy Rastiello, has designed a series where we hope to introduce some of our boys and girls to you and provide you with a little information about their other interests. Tonight, Peggy visits with Sharon Slickus. Miss Slickus is a student at the Upper Moreland Senior High School. She'll be graduating this spring. While she's at CINEKYD, her main interest is acting. However, in addition to her responsibilities as a high school student and an actress on the CINEKYD campus, Sharon has been a professional model since she was a little girl. So let's join Peggy and Sharon for Hearsay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to Hearsay. I'm Peggy Rastiello, and with me tonight is Sharon Slickus, a teenage model. She's 18, lives in Hatboro, and is currently enrolled in the Upper Moreland Senior High, where she's a senior. Okay, Sharon, you're a high school student, and you're a model. What types of things do you do in high school?
Well, I was cheerleader for football and soccer, and I'm presently in the play Damn Yankees, and I play the part of Miss Weston, and that's about it, because modeling takes up most of my time.
How did you get started in modeling?
Well, when I was little, my mother always wanted me to be a model, and my dad was against it, because she thought she had broad dreams and everything. But, you know, that kind of fell through, and then when I went to restaurants, people would approach me and, you know, say, wow, is she a model? And my mom would say, well, I'd like her to be in it. And the compliments just kept on coming, and it kind of gave me a big head to begin with, but then my sister brought me down to earth, and so did my friends, and then photographers approached me and they gave me their cards, and they were persistent. They called me, so my mom finally said yes, and my dad also agreed. So I went through with it, and I stayed with this one photographer, Dick Craig, for a long while, from 6th grade all the way through my junior high school years. And then I met a new photographer, John Hilton, and I'm still with him today.
Can you explain what types of modeling there are?
There's freestyle modeling and runway modeling for fashion shows, cosmetic modeling, which I would like to do, well, I am doing.
What is cosmetic modeling?
For eye makeup, mascara, rouge.
I see, okay. And who have you modeled for?
I modeled for Zoli's in New Hope, and that was for like punk clothing, very way out clothing, and it was really fun. And boutiques in New Hope, like Victorian dresses, and Brooks department store in the Montgomery Mall. I did mannequin modeling there, and runway modeling. And when I did modeling there, my photographer would take pictures and give pictures to them so they could hang up in the store.
What's mannequin modeling like? It must be fun.
I modeled in the window, and it's a display window, and you just kind of stand there, and they put clothes, well, not clothes on you while you're standing in the window, thank God. No, you get changed in the back, and they choose certain clothing for you, and you stand in the window for 15 minutes at a time, and
you stand perfectly still?
Yeah, which is very hard to do because once the crowd recognizes that you're real, they try to make you move, and they'll make these comments and knock on the window and everything. But once they see, that you're in there, they want to ask questions about you, so they enter the store, they ask questions about you, and they start to look around the store, so that increases the store's business. And
smart.
Yeah.
What do you do to prepare for a modeling session, to prepare mentally?
Let's see. Well, I don't know. I just usually, there is no really mental preparation. When I get there, I'm usually very tense, and it takes about a half hour before I start, really getting into it. They play music to calm me down, and my photographer is very humorous, and he makes me laugh, so that's good, so it breaks the tension. And then after the half hour is done, I start to try new ideas. I look through magazines and stuff and get ideas, and I also cut out articles, and I try to imitate them. I plan to go into communications. I really like to work with people. And I was thinking, if I don't go into communications, I'd like to go into the airlines and travel.
What is a modeling session like? I mean, what happens and how long does it take?
When I get there, usually they pin my hair all back, and the lady has this, Amy, she has this big board, and it has all these different kind of blushes to match different kind of clothing. You're constantly putting on makeup and taking it off, and she's putting on your eye makeup and everything. And you always have to redo your makeup because the lights are very hot and you start to sweat and it looks very bad. And they usually choose the clothing. They'll go to the department store and they'll tell the manager about, what I'm doing. And they'll either make a deposit and we'll borrow the clothing for about 5 hours and either return it that night or the next day, and they receive their money. Well, they get their money back. And
how long does a session generally take?
Sometimes it's very short. It all depends on how much time the photographer has and how much studying I have to do for school. I know. But when we're preparing for a portfolio for an agency, we're really pressured for time, and we spend all the time we can. We put everything aside, and we usually spend up to 5 hours, and maybe work 3 times a week.
How long does it take to do your makeup and get you ready before you even get the clothes on?
About an hour to do the makeup and hair and everything.
What types of things does the photographer do to help you get in the mood? I mean, what do they tell you? And
well, usually when I'm tense, I tend to, really close my mouth tight, and my jaw gets really tense. And they would say, not the mean look, don't get mad at us. And then they try to, make me laugh. But then I laugh so much my nose spreads out, looks really fat, and they say, not that much, and then I'm so conscious, I get very paranoid. And it's hard for them to, get the right emotion in. So usually they just play music and I listen to the music.
Okay. What type of music do they play?
Funk.
What do you mean by that?
Jackson 5. I really like the babies and all that kind of music, dancing music, because usually for the fast snapshots you have to have quick music so you can turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then your emotions change so much to the music you wouldn't believe it, If they put on like mellow music, you have the sad look on your face and it changes with the music and it's good. Take pictures.
Are you currently with the modeling agency?
Not right now. As soon as I get out of high school, I'll be going back up to Wilhelmina's because I did go up there a year ago and they said for me to go back up because they would like me to do cosmetic modeling for them, which is good because they're a very big modeling agency and I was very surprised.
Top modeling agency, aren't they?
Yeah,
Besides
top
Tom Ford?
modeling agency in United States.
Very
Yeah.
good. Congratulations.
They do Vogue magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And they, connection with the Brooke Shields and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe they considered me.
Talk about the attitudes involved with modeling. How do you feel about being considered beautiful? And how does it affect the way that you do things, the way that you live?
Modeling is fun to do, but when you tell people, well, I don't usually tell people I'm a model.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, in discussion, they'll ask you, and then, you don't want to say, no, I'm not a model. I'll tell them, and they're like, oh, wow, really? And they'll get into it. They'll ask you all the questions. And, you're so sick of repeating it because it happens frequently. And, I don't know, some people think of you as, you're put on a plateau, and they'll treat you differently. And others will think you're very vain, and why do you think you're so beautiful? Do you think you're better than everybody else? And then they'll talk behind your back. And there's
a lot of resentment.
Yeah, there is. And it's tough to deal with at school. But my close friends are very, considerate. They really know, who I am, and they don't think I'm, conceited or anything like that. People just have that view, maybe they would like to get into modeling. They probably could if they really wanted to try. But,
Well, how do you feel your classmates treat you? Do they treat you any differently because of your looks?
My classmates really don't. It's usually the under, like 11th and grades lower than me.
Mm-hmm.
The kids who really don't know me, they treat me differently. Because they just know me through, they say, there's the model. They'll point me out and, she was in Teen Magazine and all that. And, they'll come up and they'll ask me, oh, can I get into modeling? Do I have the qualifications? And I say, don't ask me, go to the agencies and find out, and then they'll consult me about their makeup, and I really don't know. It's tough. I'm always being questioned.
What about the Teen Magazine? You entered a contest?
Yeah, well, I didn't enter. My girlfriend entered for me. She saw this contest in the magazine, and she said, Sharon, you should enter that. I said, you're crazy. I'd never enter something like that. That's such a gimmick, So she filled, her name's Diana Mignotti, and she filled out the entry blank, and she sent in the entry blank and everything, and she got a picture of me because I gave her one of my, wallet pictures.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, she showed me the magazine at lunch, and I was like, oh my God, I could not believe it at all, right? And Teen Magazine wrote to me, and they said, in a few weeks you'll be appearing in the semi-finalist issue. And I was in another issue, and then it happened again, I got in the finalist.
So you made the 16 finals
Right.
contest.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever make it any further than that?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I wish. But
Next time.
yeah, hopefully.
What are your plans for the future? Do you see yourself becoming the next Cheryl Teagues?
Would be nice.
The next Cheryl
Money
Teagues?
signs. No. I think Wilhelmina's will decide that for me when I get there, because when you go there, they really tell you the truth. If you're not meant to be a top model, they'll say, listen, if you want to be a local model, fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll give you ideas, and they'll really tell you where you can go and where you're needed. But it's a cluttered field,
Yeah,
it's
well,
very competitive,
Right.
and pressure to lose weight and to look good all the time. And then
Don't you find that hard to deal with?
very hard to deal with, God. Especially the weight. I love food so much. I love to eat. And that's why I like to go into cosmetic modeling, because I don't have to worry about from the waist up. And I usually gain weight on my legs, and it's very hard for me to lose weight there. But the cosmetic modeling, I can eat all the sugar I want, and it's very hard for me to get pimples or anything like that, so that's good for me. And I don't know, cosmetic modeling would probably be what I would get into. I would like to go into commercials and maybe on TV, if it carried on to that far, but, you know, if the door's open, I'll go for it.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us tonight. I'm Peggy Rastiello. Join us again next time for Hearsay.
Now, from Hearsay, we take you to that dark, deserted house on the edge of town. Those of you who are regular viewers of CINEKYD Theater understand the problems that have beset young Jonathan Telford and his little brother Bobby, as they have made every effort to claim their rightful inheritance. Join me now as once more we call upon the ghost of Telford Mansion.
Miss Zelda Parch.
Good day, and I do not shake hands.
Of course. May I present Dr. Gustav Garfinkel?
How do you do?
May I suggest some refreshments? A cup of tea, perhaps?
Oh, yes, that'd be fine.
Absolutely not.
One cup of tea.
Miss Parch, I'm a doctor of parapsychology, and I've heard from a very reliable source that your house here is filled with psychic forces. And I was wondering, Miss Parch, could we come and investigate these psychic forces?
Absolutely not.
Aw, please, Miss Parch. We'd be very interested in these psychic forces, and we wouldn't disturb anything.
Winston, please show our guest to the door.
Not too successful, eh, Doc?
No.
There may be another way.
Another way?
Come back tomorrow at midnight, and I'll see you then.
Jonas, good evening. Jonas, what's with this carpet business? What do you mean? Well, it seems to me you're always fixing the dumb carpet.
Miss Parch is very particular. She likes them secure.
Miss Parch is particular?
Yes.
She wants them secure. Is it because she doesn't want anybody to trip over them?
Perhaps.
Is it because she wants them protected?
Perhaps.
Or is it because there's something underneath the carpet?
You shouldn't ask too many questions.
Hey, Jonas. Seen any wild dogs lately?
Don't get wise.
All do is think it over.
I've thought it over. Come on, Bobby, what are you gonna do, sleep all day?
John, if you're not satisfied with the house, there's absolutely nothing wrong with selling it.
Selling it? Johnny, you're not going to sell Telford Mansion.
Now look, Mr. Cromwell, I've thought about this thing a lot, and there's two things I'm sure of. One, we're not gonna sell this house.
Great.
Two, I don't know if my brother and me can live in this place with these people around here. Now what I want you to do is I want you to find out what legal rights I have to this place, and then we'll discuss it. Come on, Bobby, let's get washed up for dinner. Oh, see you later, Mr. Cromwell.
You know, so many things are scheduled at CINEKYD, it's sometimes difficult to keep up with them. Let's take a look at the bulletin board and see what's happening.
This Saturday night at 7:30 p.m., CINEKYD's Family Movie Night presents an original feature-length film produced entirely by the students of CINEKYD. It's Whiplash, starring Joe Klussman, Michael May, Brian Baker, and Jill Degenhardt. Originally premiered at CINEKYD in November, Whiplash is a colorful, action-filled Western filmed during the summer of 1980. Tickets are $1.25 in advance, $1.50 at the door. Don't miss Whiplash this Saturday night at CINEKYD. And if you like to take chances, then you can win a fantastic prize and help the students of CINEKYD produce this summer's film. All you have to do is enter CINEKYD's Elite Escape Raffle. The number of chances is strictly limited to 600. So at $5 a chance, you can win one of many prizes to be drawn by Miss Delaware Valley at CINEKYD on March 6th. The grand prize is a chauffeured limousine trip to the shore for a luxurious, all-expense-paid weekend. For information, call 659-4696.
I'd like to thank you for being with us this evening. And once again, I'd like to invite any boy or girl who's a part of our viewing audience to stop by CINEKYD. We're located at 129 Turwood Road in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. And you know, you don't have to have any experience to become a part of the production team. We're simply interested in meeting young people who enjoy television, radio, filmmaking. So take advantage of this invitation. Give us a call at 659-4696 and become a part of the wonderful world of CINEKYD. Until next week then, this is Bob Clark. Good night and God bless.